Scientific American.
Who?
One of the country's oldest science news publications, for only the second time in its history,
Don't say it.
is endorsing a presidential candidate.
Why?
Wait for it.
How about no?
One Kamala Cackle. I'm Jazz Berganzo on this. Mind you, this is the same magazine that endorsed a dementia patient.
Come on, man. Give me a little break here.
I'll leave it at that.
You're a fucking idiot.
So what's next? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Jazz Berganzo. What's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling today. Good today. Excuse me. How you guys are feeling good today on this Thursday. But endorsements. We see them all the time. From sports to movies to TV to radio to music, what have you. We just seen a number of so-called high-profile celebrities endorse one Kamala Cackle. Well, now we've seen another. Scientific American, one of the country's oldest science news magazines and publications, for only the second time in its history, is endorsing a presidential candidate. Yes, that would be one Kamala Cackle. Now, for those who seem to have short-term memory, just 4 years ago, they endorsed their first, and that was a dementia patient. So their credibility has been shot to hell. Can it get any worse? It just did. And here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Scientific American endorses Kamala Cackle, marking only the second presidential endorsement in its 179-year history. In a historic move. Well, is it really that historic? Scientific American magazine has endorsed Democratic Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Cackle, Kamala Knee Pads, Kamala Willie Brown for president after having its then sole exception of endorsing Joe Dementia in 2020, citing science, healthcare, abortion, gun rights, technology, and climate action as the key reasons. Yes, most of those are made up. On Monday, Scientific American, one of the oldest and most respected used to be one of the most respected science publications in the U.S., made headlines by endorsing Kamala Cackle for president. Vote for Kamala Harris to support science, health, and the environment, the publication advocated. In what was only the second time in the magazine's 179-year history that has backed a presidential candidate, first being Joe Dementia in 2020. The editors cite Harris's dedication to science-based policy, which of course she has no idea of what she speaks of. Public health improvements, again, don't know. Environmental protection, again, don't know. As well, her support for reproductive rights. Yes, your quote-unquote right to end your child's life. As their reasons are rare a political stance. The editor drew sharp contrast between Harris and her opponent, former President Donald Trump, who they described as one who's, quote, endangers public health and safety, rejects evidence, prefers instead nonsensical conspiracy fantasies. The magazine also expressed concern over Trump's, quote, dangerous and disastrous record, particularly his handling of public health during the COVID pandemic and his rollback of environmental protections. Insisting that only one is the vote for reality and integrity, the piece includes with a plea, we urge you to vote for Willie Brown's side piece. A move in a major science magazine, which is particularly notable given its traditional neutral stance, sparked outrage. More like mockery, but just me. Authoritarian leftist partisan has hijacked everything: academia, science, journalism, magazine, business, law, entertainment, culture, the justice system, etc., wrote evolutionary behavior scientist Dr. Gad Syed. Dr. Jordan Peterson. An utterly predictable and worst, boring revelation from a pathetic and self-destructive woke mob that captured Scientific American. You endorsed that candidate, Joe Dementia, last election. Your science publication has been compromised by ideologues, and it's reflected in its unscientific and disgraceful content you've published in recent years, wrote journalist, and you know. A science magazine should not be endorsing presidents. This is why you have lost all credibility, wrote evolutionary biologist Colin Wright. And yes, I'd be equally critical had you endorsed Trump. I will never forgive you people for destroying a once great science magazine, wrote independent journalist Christina Buttons. In 2020, the magazine backed presidential candidate won Joe Dementia in its first ever presidential endorsement in the magazine's 175-year history. The editors wrote that they felt compelled to support Biden in his effort to defeat Donald Trump, citing Trump's handling of the coup and the skepticism on issues such as climate change. The evidence, the evidence and the science shows that Donald Trump has badly damaged the U.S. and its people because he rejects evidence and science, the editor wrote in the magazine's October issue. In June, the long-standing science magazine called for federal regulations of homeschooling, even suggesting that parents homeschool children undergo a background check. Yes, parents, if you want to teach your children properly at home instead of being indoctrinated, well, you've got to have your head examined. In June, the long-standing science magazine called for federal regulations. I just read that. Excuse me. Last year, Scientific American piece claimed that a world with fewer people means climate change and better outcomes for remaining population, human and otherwise, on the planet. Yes, have less children, save the environment. What a concept. Another essay wrote that human sex is not binary, arguing claims that contrary are not about biology, but are trying to restrict who counts as a full human in society. Yes, a science magazine. This is biology in favor of ideologues. Nice. In 22, the once venerated magazine published an essay arguing that fight against obesity is rooted in racisms and that black women consistently experience weightism, yeah, it's a thing, in addition to sexism and racism, while the prescribing of weight loss has long since proved to be ineffective. Tell all the people who work out, who used to be diabetics, had less joint pain, less normal aches and pains, what have you. Yeah. What are you calling us? You're rejecting science. But anyway, Scientific American used to be, again, big, bold quotations, used to be a well-respected science magazine. You're around for 180 years. You got to be doing something right. And they did, up until 2020. Up until 2020, they were fine. They kept their mouths shut. They were neutral. They talked about science. Now, they're clowns. It's a rag. It's just as bad as a Rolling Stone magazine, lining your birdcage with it. That's pretty much what it is at this point. You can't take anybody seriously in that magazine anymore. And I agree with Colin Wright, is that even if they would have endorsed Donald Trump, you would have been doing the same thing. You would have been mocking them as well. But climate change, again, we still don't know the degree of human faulty here. We still don't know yet. 31,000 scientists back in 2013 said, you need to pump the brakes because we don't know. But yet, who cares about them? They just happen to be geologists and meteorologists and scientists. But Scientific Magazine, Scientific American, whatever the hell you want to freaking call it, basically delves in Fauci science at this point. The pandemic, which it was. The magical vax, which is a poison, and it's still hurting people and ending people. Just saying, just still calling out facts. But at the end of the day, this magazine is trash. You shouldn't be proud of yourself. And Dr. Sad said it beautifully, is that when they've taken over everything else, including science, and when you deny biology regarding men are men and women are women, you're worthless. Again, like I said in the beginning, your credibility has been shot to hell. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is what's next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.